So that is the end of requirement 2. We're going to move on to requirement 3, and we're going to. Yep. So
are we going to tour the building?
So after we finish, so we've got 5 requirements we have to go through. 5th requirement is nothing we're going to do here today. So we're about 3/4 of the way through because most of the stuff is in requirement 1. We're going to do requirement 3, then we'll take a short break, and I'll show you around, and we'll go out and check out the sim, and then we'll come back to finish up. So in this section, there's 4 things we're going to learn. The first is the function and importance of lights on a vehicle. The second thing is importance of tire pressure. The third thing is importance of proper tread. And the 4th thing is importance of windshield wipers. So vehicle lighting. As we look at the things that we're supposed to track there, we have parking lights. They're located in the front and back of the vehicle, and they're white and amber in the front and red in the back. All of them must be visible at 500 feet, and it's never legal to drive with your parking lights on. They may only be used during parking. So that's one type of lights that you've got. So you should be tracking these on your worksheet about what type of lights are in the vehicle. So this would be requirement 3A. It asks you about the different lights and what they do. The parking lights are designed to make your vehicle visible when it's parked alongside the road. So
where do you put everything?
So there's 3 sections in there, one of which is what is the lighting type. In this case, the first one is parking lights. The second item is what's its function, and it's to make your vehicle visible. And why is it important is the third thing you have to put in there. And with them being designed to be visible 500 feet away, it makes sure that other cars don't run into you by mistake. So if you're stopped alongside the roadway and you're sitting in your car, you don't want to be run into. Next up, we have low beam headlights. Low beam headlamps provide a light distribution to adequate to give forward and lateral illumination. So basically, it allows us to see around us without blinding people in front of us. So they avoid excessive glare. They must be turned on when it's dark or when it's raining. So this type of headlamp is particularly used when you've got vehicles in front of you. So you can't use your high beams, which we'll talk about next, if there's a car immediately in front of you because you don't want to blind them. So the next one up is high beams. So high beams provide. So the function of high beam lights is provide intense light that illuminates more of the world than do the low beams. They're suitable for use when you're driving alone on the roadway. They're not so good when you've got fog or other weather conditions that cause the light to be reflected back at you. They're often used in times of very low visibility when it's very dark out, so you don't necessarily use them at dusk when you might use low beams. And their importance is that they allow you to see much more of the environment, and they're particularly good at lighting up very dark environments. As we talked about under requirement 2, one of the challenges is you have to switch back and forth between high beams and low beams oftentimes. And adaptive headlights, which are coming out now, minimize that switch back and forth. So another type of light on your vehicle is a turn signal.
So there's not enough spots.
Combine low beam and high beam into one.
You only have to, so just to be clear, you don't have to put all of these down. You just have to do a subset of them. So not all of them. So if there's 8 up here, you only have to do, I believe that they've got 5 spots. And so you can choose which ones you want to do. 6 spots. So you can choose which ones you want to do. So next up is turn signals.
I can't even get to it.
Turn signals are on your vehicle to allow you to signal other traffic what you're going to do. They're activated by the driver when they intend to change lanes or turn. and it provides advanced warning. So the importance is allowing other people on the road to know what you're going to do before you start to do it. So if you turn your turn signal on when you're supposed to, before you start to slow down, then the car ahead knows that A, you're likely to be slowing, and B, that you're going to be turning. So people won't choose to pass you because you're slowing down when you're in fact intending to turn left across the roadway. So the next up is hazard lights. They're activated by the driver again, and they flash the lights warning surrounding traffic. These are turned on by the driver when you're driving slow. So let's say your vehicle is having a problem and you can't go as fast as surrounding traffic. Your hazards are on to warn other traffic. You may also turn them on if you're parked on the side of the interstate or a roadway to let other people know that you're there and you're stationary. And so what their intent, their function is to alert other traffic. Their importance is that they help avoid you being hit by faster moving traffic. So next up is brake lights. These are red steady burning lights in the rear. They're brighter than just your running lights, but they're activated by pressing the brake. And what these are designed to do is to alert other traffic. So their function is to warn other traffic that you're going to be slowing. And their importance is to give other traffic advance warning that they need to respond to you so they don't strike your vehicle. So they help prevent crashes where one car runs into the back of another car. And the last type of light we're going to talk about is a license plate light. It has little to do with safety, but has more to do with the fact that your license plate needs to be visible to law enforcement. So these are lights that are on your vehicle that illuminate your license plate so that law enforcement can identify which vehicle you are. In most states, it's against the law to not have a license plate illuminated on the vehicle, and so that's an important thing to keep in mind. Yes, sir.
What's the importance
Of the license plate light? It helps you comply with the law because it's illegal to drive without them. But the importance is it allows law enforcement to know which vehicle is being driven.
So you can know which vehicles to pull over?
Potentially.
Or for traffic?
Okay. So we've got a few videos we're going to go through. The first one we're going to do is one that demonstrates the lights. So here is a demonstration of the lights.
Hi, this is Jeff Wong with Expert Village. Today we're going to learn the basics of maintaining your vehicle. In this segment, we're going to be going.
So you want to pay attention to these as you're going to have to do some of these demos at home.
So we'll be testing the headlight, the high beams, the turn signals, and various other lights. So the first thing you want to test are your parking lights. You can turn on your parking lights by turning your headlight switch to the first position. If you're unsure how to do this, please consult your car's user manual. So the easiest way to do this test is to have another person outside the vehicle checking and seeing if all the lights are working all the way around the vehicle. So now if the parking lights work, you can check and see if the headlights work. Again, if all these headlights are working, now you can check if the high beams work, both by having them constantly on, seems like they work, and also to have them temporarily on by just flashing and releasing. So next, we'll test the turn signals, ensure that both sides turn on individually, and then we'll press the hazard button light to ensure that both lights flash simultaneously. Now, if one of the lights doesn't seem to turn on in any of these tests, such as one of the blinkers, the bulb may need to be replaced. Or when you push a switch and you don't hear any clicking sounds, you may need to replace the turn signal relay. So that concludes the testing of the front lights, and now we'll move to the rear of the car. Now that we're at the rear of the car, we repeat the same process by turning on the headlights. And this should turn on the rear parking lights, which should be red. And now you want to step on the brake, which should brighten the brake lights in the back, as well as turn on any center brake light that you may have. Verifying that these lights work, we move on now to the turn signals. Again, we check the left side, and then the right side, and then we turn on the hazards. We check both of them. And verifying that all the lights work, we take a look at the license plate, which should have lights above it, and those lights should both be working as well. Last but not least, don't forget to check that your horn is in working condition.
So next up is tire pressure. So why is tire pressure important?
Because if you have like the right pressure, if you like one side off,
Okay. So if you don't have the right pressure, then your car's a little unbalanced.
If your one tire's flat, it could ruin the tire.
Yep.
And also your rims.
Yep. If a tire is flat, it could affect the life of the tire.
It can make your car act wrong.
So yep.
It's gonna act differently. It's gonna like brake differently and stuff.
Yep. So yeah. So if your tire pressure is off, your vehicles may drift one way or the other in the lane. So the three reasons that we've got listed are having the tire pressure correct maximizes the life of the tire. It maximizes fuel efficiency. If it's in that right range, that's what the vehicle is designed for, and the fuel economy of the vehicle will be maximized. The other thing it does is it improves handling and braking distance. So it improves your ability to control the vehicle and to stop at the right distance. So we're going to learn a little bit about how to check and see if you've got the right tire pressure.
Welcome to Tread Light. I'm Darlene.
And I'm Chris. Today we're really putting the pressure on you.
We're taking it off, so to speak. Today's topic is on tire pressure.
It's all about how much air to have in your tires, how to measure it, and to make sure you have enough.
Maintaining the right level of pressure is super easy, quick, and essential to maximize your vehicle's performance.
Proper tire pressures can improve your tire life, give you better steering response, increase fuel efficiency, and provide an overall optimal ride.
But enough talking shop. Let's get to it.
Let's start with the gauge. We have a stick gauge, a dial gauge, and a digital gauge.
They all have their benefits, but whichever one you choose, it's important to always use the same one so your readings are always consistent.
We're going to start with the stick gauge today. It is the most common.
First thing we need to do is find out what your vehicle manufacturer's recommended tire pressures are. It's measured in PSI, or pounds per square inch. That information can be found in your door jamb or inside your owner's manual.
And if you can't find it, you can always consult with a local tire professional. All right, Darlene, let's get started. Let's grab some paper and a pen and make it sharp. We're going to begin by writing down the recommended PSI for each tire, front and rear.
And make sure you note if there is a difference between your front and rear pressures, as there often are. Another important fact is you need to check the tire pressures when it's cold. That means the car has not been driven for at least 3 hours or less than a mile at moderate speed.
Unscrew the valve cap and evenly apply the gauge onto the valve stem. Press down hard enough that the hiss sound disappears.
Here's what we found.
As you can see, our right front and right rear tires are underinflated by several PSI.
You can use a home air compressor or even one at a gas station.
When you're adding air, apply pressure evenly. After you're done, you should check the pressure again with your gauge.
For each pound you're low, it's about 1 second on the air compressor. So if you're 3 pounds low, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, this car is ready to hit the road. Did you know that all cars sold in the United States since model year 2008 have a tire pressure monitoring system, also known as a TPMS?
I do, but most people don't recognize this warning indicator.
I know, Darlene, it looks like an upside down flower pot.
Or a candle in parentheses.
But it's not time to water your plants. It's your car telling you that your tire pressure needs attention.
The TPMS warning light comes on when one or more of your tires are significantly underinflated. It could be 25% or more. This can lead to unsafe driving conditions.
So, no more ignoring it. It's not a replacement for regular checkups.
So that's all you really need to know about checking tire pressure. If you repeat this process once a month, your tires are going to love you.
Now the pressure's on.
Okay. Next up, we're going to talk about tire tread, which is number 3C. So tire tread is critical for gripping the road. Less road friction requires more tread depth. So when we have rain or snow, we need deeper treads on our tires. Insufficient tread is a serious safety concern. It can affect your ability to stop safely. There are some measurements here that are on the page that kind of give you an indication of what you need to be concerned about and when you might need to replace them. More than 30 seconds is very good. Less than 30 seconds, the tire is legally bald. And then you've got a mixture in the middle about where you might have concerns with snow, rain, or maybe need to start thinking about shopping for a new tire. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to check the tread on your tire.
Hello, and welcome to Tread Life. My name is Chris.
And I'm Darlene.
Today we're talking about tread wear.
Heavily worn tread can prevent a tire from performing as engineered and designed and can lead to unsafe driving conditions.
Tread depth, or the part of the tire that actually touches the road, is measured in 30 seconds of an inch. The average tire starts out with 9 to 11 30-seconds of an inch when new. Bridgestone recommends that a tire be replaced when any portion of the tread is worn down to 2 30-seconds of an inch.
Tires have wear bars that are built in and run across the surface of the tread.
Anytime a portion of the wear bar touches the surface of the road or is even with the tread of the tire, it's time for replacement.
And we're going to show you a simple way to check and see when it's time for the replacement.
And it only costs a penny. Let's start with a new tire. Simply take the penny with President Lincoln's head facing down and insert it into the tread groove.
If any part of President Lincoln's head is still showing, you are within that 2 30-seconds threshold.
Now let's try the same test on this used tire. If you can see Honest Abe's entire head, it's time for tire replacement. Your tread is not deep enough. Uneven tread can be a sign of underinflation, overinflation, wheel misalignment, or a handful of other things. You should definitely get your car checked out.
Remember, if any part of Mr. Lincoln's head is visible at any groove location, it's time to replace those tires.
Who knew peace of mind only costs 1 cent?
So that's an important thing to pay attention to. This is one of your pieces of homework is going to be to check your tire tread on your vehicle at home using a penny to figure out whether or not the tire tread is sufficient. The last thing we've got is windshield wipers. That's the last thing. So windshield wipers, visibility is critical. Clears windshields during rain, snow, sleet. It can also be used to remove dirt, mud, or debris from the window. And so it's important that they are always working. So we've got another short video here on inspecting your windshield.
Hey everybody, it's Charles from HomeMechanic.com, and today we are talking wiper blade. Alright, I know what you're thinking. Charles, do I really need to watch this video about wiper blade? Well, wiper blades are a very simple, very easily replaced piece on almost every car. Yet I can't tell you how many times I've seen the little rubber dangly hanging off the back of a station wagon or off the side of a car because the wiper blade is in such bad condition that it's actually separating. And when you see a wiper blade that's that worn out, it's pretty clear that it's time for replacement. But I want to show you guys some ways to inspect your wiper blade. In addition to that, some things you can do to prolong the life of your wiper blade so that you don't have to worry about the little dangly hanging off the back of your car. The very first thing you want to do is look at how the wipers move across our windshield. Do they move nice and smooth and quiet? Or are they loud, making a screeching noise? Or leaving a chunk of windshield completely unclear? If your wipers move smooth across the windshield and aren't making any noise, they're probably okay. If you see any spots in the windshield that aren't being cleaned by the wiper blades, it's time to inspect them to determine whether we can clean them and prolong their life, or whether they need to be replaced. Before I start a wiper inspection or replace wipers.
Okay, so they showed you a little bit about how to check. The other way to do it is a thing called the smear and clear test. And so this you guys will like because it involves mud. So what you do is you make a little bit of mud, some fairly thin mud, so more water than it is dirt, and you put it on your windshield. And then what you do is you use the windshield wiper to clear that mud off. And it should be able to clear it in 3 passes, assuming you don't put too much mud on. So you want to put a little bit of mud on this windshield, and then you want to use the windshield to clear it off. And after 3 passes of the windshield, it should be clear. That is called the smear and clear test, and you can use that on your windshield. That is going to be one of your homework assignments. And so, yes.
Does the pass count as the wiper blade going across or across and back?
Cross and back. So.
Can we test on our parents' vehicles?
Well, that is a good question. Can you test on your parent vehicle?
Okay.
Here's your requirement. On your own, working with your parent or adult leader. So this is your homework. You need to demonstrate how to turn on the lights in your vehicle. So we went through all those different lights, the headlights, the brake lights, the turn signals, the parking lights. You're going to sit down with your parents and you're going to demonstrate how to do that. Next, you're going to demonstrate how to check the tire pressure and find the appropriate pressure. So you're working on your vehicle, you're going to find out what is the appropriate pressure supposed to be. You're going to measure what that pressure is in your car. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to work on the tire tread depth, and we're going to use Penny to figure out whether or not we need to replace our tires or not. And the final is to demonstrate how to check wipers using the smear and clear method. So you're going to make some very thin mud. It's mainly water with a little bit of dirt mixed in. And then you're going to clean it off of the windshield. You'll have to work with your parents about which vehicle this is going to be. It won't be mine. And then what you're going to do is once you do those things, in your workbook, you're going to kind of write down what your experience is going to be. So you're going to say what you did, and you're going to write down what you found out. You know, was your tire tread okay? Was your tire pressure okay? Were your windshield wipers okay? So that's what we've got.